Hey, happy hempsters. We are back again. Shady's back. Tell a friend.
That's right.
Huge Eminem fans here, but we're going to talk about hemp today, not necessarily Eminem. But my name is Dee Dee Taylor. I am one of your hosts, and I am with my favorite Cannabeth, Miss Beth Pinati.
Hello.
Did I do
Thanks
it?
for joining us. You got my name right.
Y'all, I can't pronounce shit ever.
That's what I'm here for.
Yes, you are. You're my backup princess. So today we are going to talk about one of the reasons why I got in business, and one of the main reasons that people come to our store, anxiety. Y'all, anxiety is a bitch. It can truly ruin things. You're worried.
Jobs. It can ruin, I mean,
relationships. Yeah, you've got so much anxiety about well, what's next, or did I do this right? Did I remember to do that? I used to drive myself fucking insane. Yeah. And this was back when I worked for a law firm, and I was always worried, did I put in the certificate of service correctly? Did I write the right date down? Oh God, did I put enough postage? Just on and on and on and on. One time I literally went to the post office and made them pull stuff back so I could look at it to make sure I did it right.
Yeah.
I was fucking insane. And I tried Zoloft, I tried Lexapro, I tried Wellbutrin, I tried Prozac, I did Xanax for a little bit.
I was wondering, because we had really talked about all the prescriptions, and I was on every single one of those. Yep. And they just get more intense, more milligrams, till you're just
a
zombie.
I felt like I didn't have a soul.
That's how I felt.
You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Like, I didn't cry. I didn't laugh. I mean, nothing bothered me, but nothing bothered me. Right. And I got a personality. So it's not, I didn't feel the same. You know what I mean? Right. Like, I can watch a commercial if it's a sappy one, and I could cry. You know, even when I was on that never happened.
Right.
So it was just kind of bizarre to me. And then so my mom had passed, and I had moved to Louisville, and I became an instant stepmom. And she was not an angel back then, y'all. Oh my God, she was not an angel.
She was a teenager then, right?
Yeah, she had just turned 12, but she was a very, very young teenager. She's a great kid now. She said she's 27, but so I've known her longer now than, you know what I mean? So it was just kind of cool. But it was tough, and I was struggling with the grief of losing my mom and the guilt that I felt just because I wasn't there enough for her, and I could make myself sappy and cry now. Her birthday's October 7th too, so that always starts bringing up that kind of stuff. But it was rough, and I just remember just bawling. And poor Morgan, she was young, never really knew what that was like, so it was hard for her to see that. And becoming that instant stepmom, it was just kind of like, all right, I got to figure this out. And I don't have my mom to turn to. So the depression set in, and I was in a new city, didn't know anybody. I didn't even have a job when I moved down here. I was like 2 or 3 weeks before I got a job. And then I started doing foreclosures, and God, that sucked. And this was back in 2009 when, in 10. But still, the foreclosure stuff was alive and well, let me tell you.
Right.
It was kind of insane. And I hated it. I hated doing that stuff. And I fucked up on I had to go to the auction when a home was being foreclosed on. And I fucked up bad one time. And I didn't want to do these. I didn't want to do that. And I ended up messing this up. Well, I never did them again because I cost our company quite a bit of money. And to this day, I still felt bad about that. But it was a very easy mistake. Do you know what I mean? But it was a costly one. Right. But I just remember being in the law firm later, and don't get me wrong, the last attorney I worked for, I absolutely loved her. And I still refer people to her if anybody wants to divorce. I know a phenomenal divorce attorney. She's ethical, fair, doesn't overcharge like some of the other ones I'd worked for. So I will always recommend her. But I wouldn't use her myself because I would do it myself. That's beside the point.
Well, hopefully
That's beside the point.
Not shopping for a divorce.
No, definitely not. Hell no. I don't want to train somebody else. Damn it. I'm done doing that. And if something, God forbid, happens to him, I am not doing that shit again.
No,
I will be the old cat lady.
Yes.
I will have 100 cats in my house. Then I'll be done. Well, probably not because I can't stand clean the cat boxes. But anyway, I digress.
Yeah.
So it was about 2016. Well, I started using the Zoloft again when I moved down here and after Mom passed because I just could not handle. I mean, I wasn't sleeping. I was making myself sick. It was awful. And plus the move and deal with all that too. So I got back on Zoloft and I started using those. Well, then all of a sudden I had fucking irritable bowel syndrome.
Oh, gosh.
So I had started working at a new law firm, very prestigious one downtown for a new divorce attorney. Whew, expensive as a divorce attorney. And I was expected to bill, so much per month to pretty much pay my salary. And I did pretty well there. But I'm not gonna lie, and I can't believe I'm saying this out loud, but my irritable bowel that I never had before got so bad that I messed myself at work.
Oh, yeah.
And I had to go home and I was in tears and it happened 3 times.
Oh, no.
And I was like, so of course I'm looking at what am I doing? I'm not eating anything different. What's going on? So I started reading the side effects and that could be one of the side effects of that med. So I weaned myself off, stopped taking it. And I'm just like, fuck this. I got to get past this and move forward. I'm starting a new life, all that good stuff. So fast forward to 2016 and I had a fucking meltdown. My hours got cut and I was terrified. Like, Morgan, I think was in high school or getting ready to go to college. John, the whole Hempin stuff hadn't really panned out just yet for John. He didn't have a paycheck for a while. And I didn't know what the hell I was going to do because no one wanted to hire a paralegal with a degree for more than $12 an hour. And I'm like, I got 20 years of experience. I can't.
Schooling
I got a bachelor's. I don't just have a certificate or an associate's. I have a bachelor's. And from the College of Mount St. Joseph that I love that school. It's a good school. It was the only one that offered a bachelor's when I graduated high school. So back in 90, I'm not telling. But it was a long time ago. So it was kind of crazy. And I'm like, what am I going to do? And I called John having a panic attack and almost wrecked the car. And he goes, would you just try the damn oil? And I'm like, okay. So he brought it home and it was the honeybee. Oh, it was just, it's so gross.
Tastes like cough syrup.
Oh, it was so gross. He used artificial flavors and I told him not to when he told me about it, what he was doing with them. I said, why? This is a natural product. Why aren't you using natural flavors? He's like, can't find any, to get it cut right or blah, blah, blah. And so he went with that artificial flavor and it was disgusting. I thought the apple one was the worst.
Oh, yeah. I remember that too.
Honey and then cherry. Cherry you could tolerate because it tasted like cough syrup. Yeah. It was gross though. Yeah. But I religiously took it. And then eventually he did find some natural flavoring. Thank God. Yes. And he had another brand too. But so I started taking it, started using it. I was like, okay. Few days later, I don't feel as much weight on my chest. I started sleeping better. I was definitely less bitchy and no side effects. So I was like, man, okay, how's this work for me? And how's it work for my husband? Because, the story is he was taking those we got this business because he has seizures. So most of you know that story. But, I had to learn why. So I just started doing a shit ton of research and reading and being a Virgo and a natural born researcher, I just had to know why, because there's always an answer.
Right.
I truly believe there's almost always an answer to anything. So the more I learned, because I was such a skeptic too. Even when we got into this business, I was like, John, not everybody has seizures. Like, who are we going to help? What are we doing? What are you doing? Right. But the more that I read, I found out about the endocannabinoid system, about how all of us has one, how these cannabinoids bind with those receptors in our body and just kind of help our body find its homeostasis. And I mean, once I learned that, THC really isn't a drug, because if it was, your body would get rid of it like it does all the other drugs like heroin and meth and the pill and Tylenol. You got to keep taking that stuff to keep it in your system. So once and THC, our body keeps it up to 30 days, if not some for more, probably for me, because I got a lot of fat. It'd probably stick around a lot longer than that, because it does. It hangs out in your
fat cells.
Until
you need it.
Until you need them. Yeah. And, I was just like, okay, this makes no sense to me. Well, it did start making sense to me, actually, why it was working for me and also working for my husband. And then, our government owns a patent. So, and that lists seizures, Parkinson's, and schizophrenia as what cannabis oil can help with. So I was like, man, we've really been lied to for a really long time. But I started using it, and I remember when and this was before I even got into selling it, but I ran out, and it was been a few days, and finally I told John, I said, if you don't bring more home, don't come home. Because I felt like I was getting back to not sleeping again. I didn't feel addicted to it, but I knew it was helping my body.
Right.
You know what I mean? Right. And I tell you what, I've not had it since. I've not had it since. You know what I mean?
Right.
Not.
Yeah, I know. I'm terrified to quit taking it, because I don't know what it'll be like.
I feel like shit, and I'll be a bitch again.
No, we can't go back to that.
I definitely don't want to go back to that. But yeah, and I don't want to try. Like, I've gone nights, I guess, where I've only done THC, but I still don't sleep as well. I think I sleep better when I have some CBD with me now. So if I don't do my oil, or say I'm out, yes, sometimes it happens. I run out. I forget to bring some home. I do, but I always have some gummies. So I'll do a watermelon chill. So that way I'm still getting some of the CBD and the Delta 9, but it's the only thing that has helped me with my anxiety. I mean, I give speeches now.
I know.
Like, I would have never done that prior to. Like, now I feel like I could have made it through law school and been an attorney.
Right.
I was always terrified to go in front of the judges and doing those speeches and stuff at trial.
And if you're shitting your pants, you don't want to do that.
Hell no, you don't. That makes your anxiety even worse. Because it did mine. I was like, oh my God, am I going to shit myself again today at work? You know what I mean? And I'm talking prestige. Like, I had to dress up every day for this job. So it was fucking embarrassing. And I was in tears, and, the attorney didn't know, but his assistant was like, what's going on? I'm like, I've got to go home. She's like, you okay? I'm like, no, I've got to go home, like, right now. I threw away my panties. I threw my panties away.
It
like,
happens
what do you do?
to so many. I mean,
I know.
I had to admit that happened to me recently.
Did it?
And, well, I admitted it to you.
Oh, that's right.
But then everybody that I've talked to, they've since done that. And it's like it's going around. So I don't know. I hope you don't catch the shitty pants. But
it has happened.
It can happen for many reasons.
For many reasons.
But if it's every day, you have to look
something. You're taking something in, something bad.
Right.
I mean, I know COVID, that could be a symptom of COVID, but back then there was no COVID.
Right. So you're trying to figure out.
Exactly. So it was just bizarre. I wasn't sick. You know what I mean?
Right. So, change of diet. That's usually what I tell people first. What are you eating? If you got irritable bowel, things like that. But
and
there's so many things that can cause it.
And there is a legit thing, irritable bowel syndrome, but I truly do believe that a lot of it has to do with the American diet because of how fatty it is.
Exactly.
With all of the, greasy stuff we eat.
We're not getting the good bacteria. No. We're filling our gut up with bad bacteria.
And now I do probiotics, prebiotics, take extra vitamins because we're not getting all our vitamins and nutrients. Yeah. I've even started, back to something gross. I don't know. I think my father-in-law brought it to us, but it's it's a jar, and it has this black, thick, crude stuff, and it kind of reminds me of the first hemp extract, except this is black, but it's like shellac or shellite. I don't know, but it's from some country where you can only find it up in the mountains, and it has like 93% of your minerals.
What?
And you just do this itty bitty tiny stuff. I think it's shellac, SHILLAC. JAIT or something like that. It's a weird name. But we've been taking that like every morning with our coffee. Okay. So probably not the best time to do it with your coffee, but it's pretty cool. So I feel like, I mean, it says it's supposed to help like with hair regrowth, and I've struggled lately. My hair's just gotten thinner and thinner. I think it's perimenopause and age related, but also probably stress too. I mean, being a business owner, fighting fucking legislators all the time will make anybody's hair go thin. It's also in my family genes. Okay, so most of my family has very, very thin hair. But I didn't always. I always had thick, beautiful, long hair for the longest time. I mean, curls too. Not super curly, but definitely curlier. And even when I tried to grow it out just recently, I'm like, damn, it's just too thin to grow out. So I'll just keep it short. But I also like it because I can just throw a hat on and I don't care. But I seriously, to this day, would not be doing what I do if I hadn't have taken that chance and tried it.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Try it.
Just try it. Right. I think, to me, CBD is my first choice. Pharmaceuticals are second.
Oh, yeah.
And even that, I would try changing my diet before I would even try pharmaceuticals. I
agree. Right.
And the thing about us as Americans, that's not what we do. We go to the doctor first to get a pill to try to fix it that way.
But then that pill can lead to
more pills.
Else. Yeah. And that's what we ended up helping a lot of people with. They're like, I was suffering with anxiety and then I get put on a medication and now I have this side effect. So I need to learn how to treat that, and we hear that with all different medications.
All different. I know. And it's crazy.
Like for chronic pain or it doesn't matter. There's side effects to all these things, whereas CBD is natural. It's a plant. If there were side effects, we would be telling you.
Yeah. The only side effects usually is that you'll sleep great.
Right.
Feel your husband, better. Your husband might notice you're not as bitchy or vice versa. I mean, those are the kind of side effects you end up getting. You know what I mean? Even if you took too much, like, because CBD oil does have to have a fatty lipid. So we use MCT coconut oil, which is a good fat. Even if you did like too much of that, you might have the shits, but it's not like irritable bowel syndrome shits. And then your body gets used to the MCT coconut oil. Right. But that is that's so rare.
Right.
So very
well,
rare.
And I tell that for people who give their dogs CBD, not to just put that oil directly into their mouth, get some fatty to absorb it, because that would be a side, it could cause diarrhea just from that oil. But
that's true.
If you mix it, it usually absorbs.
Yeah. It's just amazing how much my life has changed since then. And
getting rid of the anxiety. Look at all the things you've done since getting rid of that anxiety.
Yeah. And don't get me wrong. I mean, I've still had some anxiety. Like, I went through a big IRS audit. And they ended up owing me money, by the way. No, boo-boo.
But stress doesn't stop.
No,
anxiety doesn't stop. So it's how we deal with it.
It is how we deal with it.
But I tell people the difference that you're going to feel when you're taking CBD compared to a prescription is you're going to still feel your feelings, but they don't seem to bother you as much. You still feel like you're participating in your life, not standing outside like an observer.
Exactly.
And you don't get the tired side effects. I mean, if you took too much, you may feel a little bit drowsy, but you can reduce your dose. You can, it's all workable.
It's all workable.
Works for you.
And the crazy thing is that anxiety can be, byproducts from other symptoms that you have going on. Like people with Parkinson's usually have high anxiety.
Exactly.
Autism, it has a lot of anxiety with it because they can't communicate. They're nonverbal. They don't understand. So that has a lot of anxiety to it. And we have a lot of customers for both Parkinson's and autism that use our products. I mean, and it has made such a big difference. Like I've had parents tell me their child was nonverbal autistic and then they were started like communicating more after taking CBD products. Now you tell me that's not like a fucking game changer. I know. And just their overall well-being in general too. Same thing with Parkinson's. Exactly. So y'all, I get Western medicine and there is a place for it. I'm not completely bashing it. I would just try natural. I would try cannabis and CBD first and, and look into my diet. Because I'm telling you, they've got all these dyes and shit in our food that is killing us. It's giving us cancer, people. People don't realize what's causing all this shit. And alcohol, I'm sorry, but it's fucking poison. We got to start eliminating some of that out of your diet. So just keep all this in mind. If you're suffering with anxiety or somebody that's suffering, like if it's keeping you up, because that's what it did to me, it'd keep me up at night. I'd go over things in my head 100 times and stuff that I couldn't change shit if I even wanted to. You know what I mean? That really bugs me.
Yeah, and the funny thing about worry is you can put it off until tomorrow.
You really can.
You can only worry about so much in one day, and then some. You say, "I'll worry about that tomorrow." You may forget to worry about that tomorrow.
Exactly.
So you are in control of your brain too. So those are things. Find healthy outlets.
And the
healthy
sleep,
people,
the quality of sleep is just so much better.
Everything.
Oh, yeah. And if you don't get the sleep your body needs, that always made my anxiety even worse. Because after Mom passed, I was not sleeping. Like I got some Tylenol PM just to try and help me sleep. And that's not healthy. But yeah, I'm so grateful to CBD. It truly did change my life. And that's why I do what I do to help others. Not only did it help my husband with his seizures, but I know that I can help others with it because why give your money to Big Pharma?
Yeah.
Why not give it to a retailer, a local retailer and the farmer?
Yeah.
Doesn't it make more sense?
Makes more sense to me.
So it's just something for y'all to think about if you're struggling with anxiety. Reach out to us. We're more than happy to help.
We've all been there.
We have.
We've all been there.
All been there.
Feel free to come and talk. Don't be afraid to talk about anything when you come in here. We hear everything.
Oh, you'd be surprised at some of the things we hear.
Us everything.
Oh, yep. We're like we have our own HIPAA. We might talk about it in the back, but we don't let anybody else. We don't talk about it with anybody else. So
exactly.
Feel free to reach out to us. info@502hemp.com, 502-654-7100. Stop in our stores, either 502 Hemp here on Mosier in Louisville or our Clarksville, store, 812 Hemp, over off of Blackston Mill and Lewis and Clark Parkway. But stop in and see us. We are always here to help with any issue you have. That's what we're here for. And thanks for listening. And make sure you follow us on all the socials. We're on every single freaking one of them. And you never know, you might win something cool, because I know our 6-year anniversary is coming up, and I think we're doing something fabulous for that. Yeah. So thanks for listening, and we appreciate y'all. Keep it Hempin Happiness out there.
Okay,
99% upload. Yeah, that was a good one.
I can't see your eyeballs with your hand.